Michael Murphy is going to join us. The documentary is What in the World Are They Spraying? He's also with the Coalition Against Geoengineering. Diane Macauley is our local connection. She joins us in studio now. Diane, good afternoon.
Hey, Dave.
Thanks for being here. I've known you now for about 12 or 13 years, and ever since I've known you, this is an issue that you have been concerned about. And the term that we're going to be using throughout the segment is the term geoengineering.
Yes.
And to the layperson, how would you explain? I mean, we'll get Michael's take on it when he joins us, but what does geoengineering refer to, Diane?
Well, actually, we're using the term geoengineering now because that is what the scientists are calling it. At a meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, scientists are discussing the plausibility of dumping 10 to 20 megatons of aluminum in the sky, and they're calling this stratospheric aerosol geoengineering campaign. Now, this would, their intention is to alter the atmosphere, and that's why we call it geoengineering. That is their word.
Also, if you talk to somebody and you see a plane go by, like Governor Brown's jet or whatever, and the stream that goes out behind it, that's called a contrail.
Yes, a contrail will dissipate in moments. A contrail or a chemtrail is different, and that's why that term has been used. It'll be a long white line that will come out from the back of the plane, and it will not dissipate. It will stay in the air. It will begin to stretch out, connect, and pretty soon the sky will either have a white haze or clouds will have started to form.
Now, the focus of our discussion tonight is going to be mostly about chemtrails. But before we bring Michael into the conversation, you also wanted to give us an update on this HARP project.
Yes, HARP is also a geoengineering project, and I suggest that your listeners go to a website called earthpulse.com. I have worked with Dr. Nick Begich. He is very reputable.
And he's been on the show from up in Alaska.
Yes, and he was here at Cal Poly speaking about High Active Auroral Research Program, electromagnetic field modification, for the use in weather modification as well as electromagnetic pulsing weapons that most of your listeners have probably heard about by now.
Would this have anything to do with these recent incidents of hundreds of birds dropping out of the sky at any given time?
Possibly there is that theory because of the way in which the birds died, the blunt trauma to the chest and the fact that their organs were liquefied. Could possibly be the result of an electromagnetic pulse, yes.
So the connection between HARP and chemtrails is this notion, Diane, that in both cases you and Michael and others are convinced and concerned that the government is doing things covertly that the public has no idea about that deal with various forms of weather modification.
Well, yes, and it's not hard to find documentation to support that. And I have with me a couple of books that I got from a library or an old bookstore in Detroit, one from 1978, one from 1963. One is entitled Weather and Climate Modification, and the other is called Weather Changers. Now, these are scientific books, and they speak of the programs that were currently at that time, and we're talking 40 years ago now, being used experimentally to modify the climate and to change the weather patterns. And that was that long ago.